Hello everybody, I'm Ellbristow. Welcome back to Ellitopia Gaming and welcome back to KSP Live. We had a catastrophic episode last week and our space program was sent into bankruptcy. So, this week we are starting again. We are rebooting Season 4 because we only got to Episode 2. So, this will be Episode 3, but really it's Episode 1 because we're starting again. So, what we are doing, we are starting a new career with some new rules and a load of new mods. I have added lots and lots of new mods since last week. Those in the Twitch chat will have already got the link to that mod list. If you're watching this on YouTube, then you can check the description down below for that mod list, so that you can play along with us if you so wish. But let's just get straight into the game, shall we? We are going to start a new game, and this is going to be KSP Live. And we are going to use our normal flag. We're in career mode. We are going to do hard mode, but we're going to tweak it slightly. We are going to put the rewards back up to 100% because the grinding that's involved is not very fun to watch, either on Twitch or on YouTube. So the rewards we're putting back at 100%, 100%, but the penalties we're going to up from 200 to 250% just to mitigate that slightly, and to kind of give us a little bit of longevity on the series. Starting funds will stay at 10. Should we have no starting funds? We could have no starting funds, couldn't we? Doesn't make a lot of difference at this stage. It doesn't really make any difference whatsoever because you get enough funds from the first contracts that you accept. So no, let's forget that. Let's just go with the standard starting funds. No reverts, no quick loads, no quick saves, no crew respawns, no stock vessels. Purchase is required on research, and facilities are destructible. The one caveat, the one exception to the no reverts rule is if the New Horizons mod that we're using bugs us out like it did last week and gives us tidal waves of grass that blow up our craft, then we are allowed to revert, and we will use debug mode to activate the revert on that one. But we have added back the Kerbal Construction Time mod, which means we can now do simulated flights, which I'll explain a little bit more as we get into the game. But let's get the game started so that you don't sit there looking at the intro screen for so long. We've got TAC Life Support running. Let's close that. This is Kerbal Construction Time, and we start off with 15 spendable upgrades, which we are going to spend straight away. We're going to spend a lot of that on the VAB to speed up the time it takes to build a craft. This is build points per second, and each craft has a certain number of build points that it will be assigned. We're also going to upgrade the R&D. We are going to have it so that we earn 1 science for every 86,400 build points that we construct. So we do gain a little bit of a trickle of extra science from building craft. And we're going to increase the development to 1 science a day so that research doesn't take quite so long. And we will upgrade that a little bit later because the research can take flipping ages. And then the rest of the points we'll spend on the space plane hangar for when we do need that. So that's 0.3 there, 0.5 there, and 1 science and 1 science per day there. Let's hide that. We haven't got anything in the build list at the moment. And well, there we go. That's that bit sorted. We are going to go straight to here, and we are going to gather scientific data from Kerbin and launch our first vessel, which gives us an instant 21,395 funds to play with. Now I'm going to do this a slightly different way round to what you might expect. I am going to start in the space plane hangar and build just a pod with no monopropellant, no spare parts. In fact, it doesn't even really need food. Oops. We'll put some in there. Food, water and oxygen. Just a tiny little bit. That is literally all we need in there. And a Kerbal, of course. And we're going to start off ignoring our normal naming convention for the moment, we're going to go for Pod 1. Jebediah, no, Jebediah's not going to do it for us. Who's going to do it for us? Bob, you can do it for us. He's going to be the first person out to gather science for us. We are going to build this, but we have to build it, we have to put it in the build queue. So there we go, it's been added to the build list, and that will take, we go like this. No, we're not in the VAB, we're in the spaceplane hangar. That will take 17 days to build. Why is that not ticking down? Maybe it is and it's just not showing us. Oh, because time doesn't pass when you're in the spaceplane hangar, does it? Okay. So let's exit there. Let's go on, we'll save and continue that, might as well. And we are going to build that craft. That is going to be 17 days worth of construction, which we're going to have to skip past. Yeah, it's ticking down now. Whilst that is building, we will also build our first craft that we're actually going to launch in the vehicle assembly building, which will possibly actually build quicker. However, it will be more complex, clearly. Let's have one of them. And that is all we can really do. Oh, mystery goo. Let's have some mystery goo. I should have put some mystery goo on the on pod 1, shouldn't I? Okay, so that's mystery goo. That's a craft. Let's do the same as we did before. We're not going to need any spare parts on this. We're not going to need any monopropellant in this. We're probably not going to need much food, water and oxygen in this either, because it's literally just going to launch us a short way. We can probably limit the thrust because that's ridiculous. Let's go for 1.42. There we go. And this is going to be our first actual craft, so this will follow our naming convention of naming craft alphabetically. So the first craft will start with A. I don't know how many people we've got in the Twitch chat at the moment. It seems like it might be a little bit quiet, but if you are in the Twitch chat, then feel free to suggest a craft name beginning with A that we can start using. Anything you like, as long as it's, you know, not something inappropriate. Yeah, by all means, let's have the people suggesting things in the chat. While we do that, I am actually going to move my camera very slightly because you guys can't see what's going on there with the build queue. So I will shrink myself down very, very slightly because my head's rather big now that I've moved my camera around a bit. So we can shrink me down a bit, and then you can actually see our staging. There we go. So that's possibly a bit better for you guys. Might actually need to go a little bit higher as well because of our curbly friends down here. But we'll see how that goes as and when. Not getting any suggestions of craft names, so I'm going to pick a name myself. Starting with A, we're going to go with the Apex. Yeah, fair enough, the Apex. The Apex 1. We're going to save it, and we are going to add that to the VAB build list and exit. And then we are going to have a look at how long everything is going to take to build. VAB, 13 days, and that was 17 days, wasn't it? So ironically, that one's going to build first because the VAB builds quicker than the spaceplane hangar, because that's the way we've upgraded things. Ideally I want to warp to pod 1 being complete, so let's warp to that. Apex will be complete as well, but there we go, we're warping to that being complete. There we go, it's added some science, 2.9 science for building those two craft. There we go, pod 1 complete, Apex 1 complete. We are going to take Apex 1 out first. So let's go sorry, not Apex 1. We're going to take Pod 1 out first. We're going to take Jebediah. No, we're not. We said we weren't going to take Jebediah. We were going to take Bob, because he's a scientist. We are going to launch that out on the space plane hangar. Okay, so we are on the launch pad. Oh, look. There's an interesting blue ring just on the horizon. That would be the blue ring of Sonar, our parent planet. There is, what's that called? Apter or something like that. I think that one's called. Can't see the other one, must be the other side at the moment. But there we are on the runway. Let's take a crew report from here for 1.8 science, and we'll do an EVA report. We can do one there, flying over Kerbin Shores, which is a load of rubbish. Store that, let go, EVA report on the runway, keep that, jump in, board, recover. There you go. Very, very basic first launch, which was not a launch, obviously. But that gives us enough science. My goodness, 20 science? How did we go from... Oh, because, of course, we got awarded that one as well, of course. So there we go. That's a very easy start. 27,000 funds, 10 science and 24 reputation just for that, which means we can start unlocking stuff here. Now, we need to unlock this for 5, and we can unlock this for 15. That will give us access to the heat shields for when we do the atmospheric, leaving the atmosphere flight. However, they are not available straight away, because when we close this, if we go back in, they are reset, because we have to wait for them to build in Kerbal construction time. So that's going to be 4 days, that's going to be 14 days. They tick down together, so it's going to be 14 days overall for both of those. In the meantime, let's observe the mystery goo on the launch pad, take a crew report on the launch pad. Don't need to do the EVA report there because we just did it. SAS on, and well, there's nothing really much else to say than go. And we fired the parachute. Haven't done that for a while. Oh well. We'll just sit here and hover around for a bit until that fuel runs out, and then we'll probably just land straight back on the launch pad again. In which case, let's take that. Flying at Kerbin, keep that. Well, I've never done this before. There we go. Now we're coming back down again. No, what I should have done is taken the crew report out. Let's take a new crew report while we're flying. Keep that. And then we'll touch down. Doink. Can we roll over? No. Didn't catch it in time. Come on, come on. Roll over. No, it's not going to roll over. Okay. So we'll do an EVA. We will take and store. Jump back in quickly and take another crew report from there. Then EVA out, and we'll take the one from the launch pad as well. Oink. EVA report. Keep that. We will recover Jebediah. And then we'll recover the craft after. Next. Apex, recover. Okay, so we now have 17 science, 51,378 funds, and whatever our reputation was, I didn't look, it didn't show me. We picked up 2394 funds, 1 science and 2 reputation from that rather pathetic launch. However, it was a launch and it did work, so we are going for our next contract, which is escape the atmosphere. Excuse me. In order to escape the atmosphere, we're going to need that tech. So let's go to tech here, and we will warp to survivability being completed. Another 14 days. Coming up on day 33 already. and we've only done one actual launch. So they are now unlocked. Good. We have 17.2 more funds, so we could actually unlock that one as well, which is basic rocketry, which will be handy for getting into orbit, leaving us with 12.2. So that's not bad. So it's time for us to build a craft that can leave the atmosphere. So we'll have, I think, 4 of those, and then one of those. Oh, come here, one of those, and then one of those, and another, say, 3 of those. So basically, these solid boosters and these liquid fuels will burn for the same amount of time. They'll both expire at the same time, then we can drop the whole lot. And that gets around the fact that we haven't got the radial decouplers yet. We can take this extra weight and the extra thrust in the first stage without adding too many extra parts or too much extra weight. And, well, job's a good one. So let's add some fins, 3 to be precise, because that's how many parts we've got available. Yeah, that is exactly our part count, and we are just under the weight limit. So there we go. There is Burr 1, which should be, according to this, 2,956 metres a second, should be enough to get us out of the atmosphere to complete that contract. So we are going to simulate this vessel to find out if that is actually the case. It's going to cost us 58.6 funds, which is not a lot. We get a simulation maximum length of 15 minutes. So we're going to simulate this and find out what it does. It costs us a small amount of funds, but doesn't cost us a curb or whatever if it goes wrong. And the any science or anything that we pick up gets ignored during a simulation. So you can't cheat and grab simulation and then revert back or anything like that. Okay, so SAS is on, throttle is up to full, Jebediah Kerman is ready to go in the Burr 1. So let's do a launch like that. Here we go, ready? Let's find out what it does. Hopefully it will go up straightways. Seem to be going up straightways, which is good. Now let's see if we can do a small gravity turn on this to get us some distance from the KSC, because there are contracts that you can pick up based on the amount of distance you get between you and the KSC during these launches. These are altitude records that we're setting, but obviously this is a simulation, so they won't count until we actually do the launch. This is actually going quite... There we go, they've run out. Switch engines. Our thrust to weight is now a bit high actually, so we can bring our thrust down, our throttle down rather. Let's not spin over. No, let's not spin over, I did that wrong. Come on, stop. Oof, just about caught that. Come on. Those fins helping out there. There we go. Back to burn. Oof. Okay, so need to be careful of that when we do our actual launch. Okay, SAS on before that thing topples over. Throttle to 100%. And how are we looking? Yeah, you guys can see that okay. That's not too dark. Oh look, there's Aptur, that planet. Where's the big blue one? Oh, there it is. There is the big blue one. We're exactly lined up with the rings, and there is 2 of the other. Hey, look at that. That's actually quite a good screenshot. Hold on. I like that. Nice. That might be... Oh, I don't use the images for the cover of the videos anymore, do I? Oh well. Okay, so SAS is on, our throttle is up, Jebediah Kerman is ready to go. We are in the Burr 1. This is not a simulation, this is our actual launch. Here we go. Let's hope it doesn't go quite so poorly this time. Let's hope it goes well this time. We are away. Ooh, we're wavering off to the west. Hang on, let's keep that to the east, thank you very much. Okay, keep it controlled, keep it controlled. Oh, hold on, we've got the, let's get rid of that, the aerodynamic display thing on, because I took a screenshot. I hate that. Come on, you're supposed to be turning. Why are you not turning over? Come on, turn over. Turn over. God, this thing just wants to go straight up. It doesn't want to turn. Come on. Come on. Fuel's going to run out in a moment, so you've got to turn. There we go. Drop down. Right. Now you'll turn over. Come on. Let's not flip over this time. And then we will have a much more efficient launch than we did during the simulation. And we should be at 90 degrees or at 45 degrees already, because we're up at 20,000 metres already. Not the most efficient gravity turn in the world, but there we go. We are at 45 degrees and we're at 45 kilometres as well with our apoapsis. I'll tell you what, we're in the upper atmosphere. Let's get a crew report. Oh no, actually we don't want a crew report in the upper atmosphere because we didn't. Oh yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. We did bring an aerial, didn't we? Crew report. Keep the data. Open these doors and activate that. Let's take a mystery goo report while we're doing that. Keep that. Let's transmit that. Oof, timed that badly because that's just used up power, but never mind. Let's... No, not close. Where's the communitron? Deactivate that so we stop using up the power. We've got the mystery goo report. Close the service bay for the moment. Dump off those tanks. And we are going to space for sure. 134 kilometres. Wasn't really paying attention then, but never mind. We are now in space, so we can take a crew report from space. We can take a materials bay reading from space for 10 science. We can open this and we can take a mystery goo report for 4 science, and we can toggle the magnetometer, get out of its way. Boink. And we can log that data for 2 science, keep that. Toggle that back in. Close the door, and we are good to go. We are ready to return home. Slow down time a bit too soon, it's taking ages. Come on, 4 meters a second. There we go. Lovely gentle splashdown. Let's flip this on its back. There we go. And we'll get Jeb out on EVA now that we've landed. Take an EVA report flying... Oh, over Kerbin Shores. We've already got that one. Okay. Well, let's take and store that data. Whoop, slide off. Thank you, Jeb. EVA report from the water. 2.4 science. Nice. Boing. Jumping from the water. Not really sure that that's physically possible. Grab. Grab on board. Grab or board. Either one. Board. Board, 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 board. Jump up. There we go. Oh, right. Grab. Board. There we go. Okay. Jeb's back on board with his EVA report. Okay, so we can recover this now. Let's recover that. Let's upgrade the launch pad for 187,500 because that increases our weight allowance, which getting into orbit, we're going to need that. That leaves us with 213,000. To upgrade the vehicle assembly building is going to be 562,000, which we should be able to pick up relatively easily. Tracking station upgrade required for flight planning. Okay. 375 is the tracking station. Astronaut complex would give us EVA. Girls can only disembark on. Yeah, so that would give us access to EVA and placing flags, but it would leave us with not very many funds. So I'm thinking for the moment we won't. Won't we? Yeah, no, we won't take that for the moment. We'll save that. We'll pick up some extra funds first. Now we can either ferry some tourists around on a suborbital flight, ferry a VIP on a suborbital flight, just to get some funds. Not a lot of funds, to be honest. Visual surveys of curbing. Got another couple of landed at and launch site missions we could do for some science. Don't pay a huge amount though. Or does that one? That one pays quite well, but that's orbiting curbing. Escape trajectory. No, let's just go straight for orbiting curbing, shall we? And we will take the... Did we have one for the thumper? No. Okay, I thought we did. Okay, well we'll take the launch stability enhancer test and we'll do that one for this this craft anyway. And we will go with a Mark 1 command pod with no monopropellant, no spare parts, and not very much food. In fact, actually no, this time we'll take a bit more food, water, and oxygen. Spare parts. Do we want to take spare parts? I think we will take a few actually. We'll take like 5. And that'll be in case we do get into orbit and we lose bits. We won't take all the sciencey things with us this time because we technically don't need to. What am I doing though? I'm looking for the parachute. Come on. There we go. And we will, for this one, we will just do the... My goodness, I must be tired. I don't know where anything is. There we go. We'll do the heat shield. Straight to the stack decoupler. And we will go for... We've now unlocked this tank, so we'll have a couple of those. 29 out of the 30 funds, 30 parts, and everything else is within normal parameters. Everything in the command pod looks okay. We don't need anything in the inventory this time, so we won't. So let's save that, and we will simulate this launch just to make sure that the actual launch part of it is... What's advanced options? No, okay. So that we know that the launch part of it... call it the C4. I could have called it the C4. Because it will probably just go bang. C4 is very good at going bang. Okay, we're on the launch pad with a simulated launch. We'll put the throttle up, although we don't need it straight away. Jebediah is looking happy. Simulated Jebediah is looking happy. And here we go. Let's see if this thing launches. It almost fell down before it took off. Have we got control? Yes, we have got control. An element of control. So let's start the gravity turn almost straight away and see how much of a gravity turn we can get through before we reach 10,000 metres. Because that is an ideal situation. The ideal would be to be at 45 degrees when you hit 10,000 metres. That would kind of be an ideal gravity turn. It's almost working. We're coming up at 6,000 and we're almost at 45 degrees. moved a little bit off east. Kind of correcting that now. Well, that didn't work out too bad. 8,000, 9,000, coming up on 10,000, and there we go. We're just under 10,000. Just under 45 degrees when we hit 10,000 metres. Let's watch our APO. We're a bit lower actually. And we're going a bit fast for this part of the atmosphere. Let's slow our thrust down a bit. It won't let me pull up. It won't let me pull up. The atmosphere is killing me. This wasn't a good launch. I'm glad I simulated it. Let's let the atmosphere slow us down a little bit, I think. Or stop speeding us up. Stop us from speeding up. What is that we've got there? Oh, that's our heat indicators. I didn't know I had those on. Why have I got those on? Where did we do those? Is it... oh, temperature overlay. Temperature gauges, there we go. Yeah, this is not going to orbit, is it? This is barely going anywhere at all. We turned too fast. So we can, through the magic of Kerbal Construction Time, restart the simulation and work out what we did wrong there. Okay, so same as did we just start turning much too early? We don't want to go that way, we want to go this way, thank you very much. So let's try and do it a little bit slower this time. Slower turnover. Coming up with 3,500, 4,000, 4,500 when we do the switch. So that was a lot more vertical than before. So this time, hopefully, turn. Yeah, we're going to be at 10,000 before we hit 45 degrees. And that should mean we can stop at 45 degrees a bit easier. It's a bit better, isn't it? So then the APO is much higher than last time already, which is great. Launch pad, build vessel, there we go, added to the VAB list. So, exit that, and hopefully this time we will go as well as the second simulation went, and we will get this thing into orbit. Not like that. It's almost every time. In fact, that is every time, isn't it? Oh. Oh, that wasn't clever. That wasn't clever. I didn't revert it. Oh. Jebediah was on that. That wasn't a simulation. And I didn't revert it. We just lost Jebediah Kerman. Well, and now the game doesn't want to let me click on anything. There's a nice bug for you. Fantastic. Well, I hadn't intended for us to lose Jebediah Kerman, particularly in the first episode of the reboot of this series. I kind of have to replan how I was going to do things. Hey there, Reboot. Welcome, welcome. Hashtag DM Squad. Yes, so we've lost Jebediah Kerman. We'll probably have to do some kind of memorial for Jebediah Kerman, methinks, but we can't click on anything at the moment. Preferably without the red things. I can hear my mother-in-law's dog barking downstairs. Oh, she's come up instead. I'm guessing you can probably hear that too. There we go. In memory of Jebediah Kerman. May he rest in pieces. So we're going to have to depend on Valentina now to head up our space program. We're going to go back to the Captain 1 and we're going to have to rebuild the Captain 1, except it's going to have to be the Captain 2. In fact, we're going to rename it. We're going to call it the C4 rather than the Captain 2, because it did explode into lots of little pieces, and that's exactly what C4 does. So we're going to have to build this. It's going to cost us another 15,000 funds, which thankfully is not a ridiculous amount of money. And there it is, safe and sound, and no grass tidal wave. SAS is going on, throttle is going up, and can we actually finally get this launched so that we can get into orbit? Come on, Valentina, let's go to orbit. Let's get a screenshot at a dodgy angle. There we go. Ooh, okay, let's have 3 screenshots there. So, SAS is on, throttle is up, Valentine is ready, here we go. We are away. Jebediah being blown by the fumes of the engines there. Oh, actually Jebediah's memorial craft. I didn't start our turn, so let's start our turn and do it a bit sharpish. There we go. It's turning a bit faster than I wanted now. Typical. What's that? Oh, that was for testing the stability enhancer. That's good. Turning. Turn. Detach. Carry on turning. Okay, it's all a bit better now. Let's cut the engines, ditch that, and drift up to our Apo. Get ourselves ready for a burn once we get up there. Although we'll probably be pointing, we'll be pointing slightly the wrong direction when we do that, but okay, and just before we get to the Apo, we will slow ourselves back down and get ourselves ready for our burn. Yep, that'll do. Bang, full power. watch it. Lovely, lovely. Let's watch the fuel though. Ooh, it's going to be tight. It's going to be tight. 79 by 83, and we've got 40 units of fuel left. Is that 40 gallons? I think it's 40 gallons or something like that, isn't it? 41 units of fuel left. We're in orbit. We made it into orbit. Look at that. 30,000 funds, 12 science, and 30 reputation. Thank you, Valentina. No point taking a crew report up there because we've already got one from up here. We have a craft in orbit. How long does your life support last while you're up here? 1 day. In fact, 2 hours of electricity remaining. That'll probably get you to about there. So let's do that. Let's get you to about there. Oh no, that's not so bad. We'll get you to the Apo, and then we'll bring you back home again. We might actually just land on that. I'm pointing at my screen, you can't see that. That bit there, yeah? You see that bit there? It's actually on the screen, it's this bit here. We might actually just about land on that kind of peninsula there. Maybe. Just about. Just about, I think. It should be okay. I want to land on land so that we can get a crew report and an EVA report at least. Some back pain. Back pain's the worst. I hate back pain. The worst kind of pain. Other than children and childbirth, that's quite a bad pain. Shall we use our engines to help slow us down so that we definitely do land in the desert on that peninsula? I'm pretty sure we are going to. Let's use our fuel to slow us down. The view of the green planet's awesome, isn't it? Right, okay, we're definitely landing in the desert now. Slowing down nicely, atmosphere's thickening up. Coming down to 10,000 feet. That was a very nice re-entry actually. 10,000 feet, 10,000 metres, 10 kilometres. That was a very, very safe re-entry. So let's let ourselves drop down just a little bit further before we pop parachutes. In fact, let's do that so that we pop parachutes. What am I doing? Hang on. That should be there like that. Right, let's pop the parachute there. Now, I have made this mistake before of trying to land with the engine and the fuel attached. Before we get to 500 metres, let's turn the SAS off. Before we get to 500 metres, I'm going to fire up the engine to slow us down. So when the parachute does go, no, we haven't got enough fuel left. Yeah, 9 metres a second, I don't think that's enough. I think the engine will go bang, so we're going to have to drop it. That's a shame. But... oh. Is it going to survive? No, is the answer to that. It's not going to survive. Something survived. The ring survived. The decoupler, that's all that survived of that. But there we go. We are home safe. Let's get a crew report from here. Kerbin's Deserts, 1.8 science. Valentina, you can get an EVA report flying over the deserts, which you of course are not actually doing. Store that, jump down and get an EVA report at Kerbin's Deserts. and we'll get a quick screenshot of you because you are our first Kerbal in orbit, and there's some debris of your plane behind you. Of your craft behind you. There we go. Thank you very much, Valentina Kerman. You have done Jebediah proud. Let's recover that vessel. We're going to have to pick up a contract from here, aren't we? Conduct an orbital survey of the moon. That's actually a lot harder than you would think, because the moon no longer orbits Kerbin. It orbits Sonna instead. Test the brand decoupler orbiting Kerbin. We could do that. Quite a lot of funds and science involved in that. Liquid fuel engine orbiting Kerbin. We could do that. Now that we can get into... Oh, science data from space. They're always good. Science data from space around Kerbin. Not as much as I thought, actually, but maybe we'll save that one. Because that one, a brand decoupler, we get 40,000 funds and 8 science for that. So I'm going to accept that contract. Escape trajectory, orbiting, in-flight over, in-flight over. If we're going to space, we might as well get that one as well. Okay, so SAS on, throttle up. Now this is just a simulated launch. Let's see what that is this time. Really doesn't like it. Okay. Well, fortunately that was just a simulation that time, so... What are we doing wrong? Maybe the centre of mass... I think it is just that the centre of mass is too high. Because if we take that off, it drops down, and if we take that off, it stays down a bit. So how do we... Of course we've got that on as well. That doesn't help. What have we got in there? Yeah, we haven't got any monopropellant in there. Why is this so tricky? This shouldn't be tricky. Let's not save. See, the C4... C4 got us into orbit. We had wings on there on that one, didn't we? At a centre of lift there. When we took that off and that off, see the centre of lift. Ah, do we have to have the centre of lift behind the centre of thrust for that stage? Maybe we do. Maybe we do. Okay, so let's don't save that. C5.2. Why hasn't it saved a screenshot? So centre of mass, centre of lift. So if our centre of lift is right up there, that's what it doesn't like. So instead, let's bring it right down here somewhere. And down here. wonder if that will do it, having our centre of lift right down there. This will still be the 5.2, won't it? Because we haven't actually launched this. We haven't built it. We've only simulated it. So let's do another simulation of this one. Simulate. And if this doesn't work, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. We'll have to go completely back to the drawing board and come up with something different. Okay, SAS on, throttle up. Let's see what we get. Let's start a little bit of a turn. Not too much of a turn. That's a little bit too much of a turn. Still wants to go to the north rather than going straight to the east, which is a pain. And I still don't have much control. That turn. And it's doing it again. It just doesn't want to be going where I want it to go, I think is the problem here. Well, okay, so revert to the editor. I'm going to have to have a play around with this and see if I can come up with the right design. There must be a way for us to get this thing into orbit on this craft. If not, we might be taking a penalty for a failed contract. But I don't think I'm going to come up with that right now. So I'm going to call that the end of this stream, and I'm going to have a play with this off camera and hopefully come back next week with a working craft that will actually deliver this into orbit, so that we can pick up that contract. So thank you for watching, guys. If you haven't done so already, don't forget to hit the follow button on Twitch. If you're watching this on the highlights in YouTube, then don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Check out the news on ellitopia.com, because we are going to be starting a new series of tabletop games, and we are looking for players to join us in that, and there is an application form over, or there's a link to an application form over on ellitopia.com where you can apply to be a part of our playing team. And on that note, I have been ellbristow, you've been watching Ellitopia Gaming, this has been KSP Live, and I will see you next time, guys. See you later.